today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're going to send this to you after today's session ends. We're going to email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right, so if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is Art Storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are two halves to Art Storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on Art Storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art. But I want to show you the wall art product page because there's an important thing to get straight here. These pages are set up specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything, which creates a master of none situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work. You get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts. You save up for it. Eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color? How's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or of course too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions. Your website does not answer them and they never get it answered. They leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go. Got the help for you right here. Problem solved. Keep going. Keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you could step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, giclée print, metal acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need, right? So let's step it up, the 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space. And now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more, but that is the engine. The Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list, your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks, 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. Let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefront's website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing. And in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit by bit look. This section is the high level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first. And then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work upfront for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home. And our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
Yeah, so on that note, let me kind of give you a brief intro. Now, we say that there's 5 pillars, really, of an art business, and really, like, ultimately what we're aiming for, what we like, is we want our customers to be on the path towards a 6-figure a year plus business. We sort of arrived at that 6 figures a year. It's a good target. It's more than double what the national average is for a solo entrepreneur, small business in the US today. And it's really where everyone wants to go, right? Now, do we have customers that are over this? Yes, we do. Is it the vast majority of them? No, it's not. It's somewhat of an aspirational number, but there is a path towards a business of that size. And that's what we teach. That's what we articulate. That's what we get our customers on. And we believe, to be honest with you, that right now, this moment in time, there has never been a better time as an artist, as a photographer, as a creator to get there. And why is that? Technology and disruption and all the rest of the buzzwords, or adoption, if you like, it has its own timeline, right? And we believe that whereas maybe it was 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 years down the road that it would have been the greatest time ever to be an artist, photographer selling, it's been accelerated by this pandemic. This pandemic has taken trends that would have taken 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 years and just truncated it down into like 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 months. It's been bananas. And so we think this path of getting to a 6-figure a year plus business as a solo artist, photographer, creator, never been a better time. So let's talk about the 5 pillars of an art business, or you could even say just presentation here. But number 1, we call unclog the drain. And having talked to all these artists and photographers over all these years, we find that before we can even get into the other 4 pillars, we have to get your drain unclogged before they can even flow through. And what is the drain clog? Call them self-limiting beliefs. Call them complete nonsense that someone out there in the market has put in your head. My business will be successful when, and insert thing here that's preventing you from doing that. That perfection that runs endemic in artist and photographer society. Like, I just got to get it. I just got to get it perfect and just get my website perfect. The days turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years. You take a look back, no constructive steps, or very few have actually been made in the art business, right? And so we find on these calls that the primary thing that we need to do is get whatever is stuck in your drain out. I'll just get started when I get all my pieces photographed. My niche is different. I just need high net worth individuals. I'm just looking for that high net worth list. There's some sort of website out there that you can magically upload all your images to and not do anything else, and you're going to have a six-figure a year business, right? There's all of these various different things that are stuck in the drain. Once we get into the Q&A, we'll find the majority of the conversation will probably start there. That's number one. Number two, you have to understand the business model. It is DTC or die. In today's day and age. What do I mean? Direct to consumer. No middleman, no other hands in your pocket. You have to create and sell directly to the consumer. That's the way the market's going. You need to own the data on your customers. You need to be building your own email list. You need to be marketing regularly, and you can't have any other middlemen in the picture, or stated another way, you can't have anyone else setting the rules, right? Because what happens in a situation like this, i.e. the pandemic, i.e. all offline sources are pretty much croaked, i.e. your galleries are embargoed and closed. Someone else is setting the rules to your business in that situation. That is an untenable situation to be in. It is DTC or die. We'll get into that. Number three, the secret to effective marketing. Okay. This is something that all of you need to understand if you want a six-figure a year plus business. And I can't even believe I'm going to tell you. They've told me not to tell you. I'm going to tell you. There is no damn secret. There never has been a secret. It's two things. One, focusing whatever time, energy, and effort you have on the highest leverage marketing opportunities that exist today. Not chasing shiny objects, not trying some new thing for a couple of weeks. Let me just dip a toe in here. No. Focused on what actually works. We teach you this. We tell you this. We have data. No one can call BS on me on this one. I've seen it all. We know what the highest leverage ROI, return on investment, time, effort, treasure of yours and it are. That's number one. Number two, it's just doing it consistently. It's doing it consistently all year long. So many artists, so many photographers, they get fired up, they get hot and bothered, they start in on some sort of marketing effort, whether it's the highest ROI or not, they do it for a couple of months, they're like, where the heck are my results? And they quit. The consistency is so, so important. That's the secret to marketing. That's it. High ROI marketing activities, consistency, okay? Number four, the inputs, what we like to call the inputs. And, you know, there's variations of this, like, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? I love that. Put another way, let's put it in this way in today's day and age. You don't realize how powerful this one is until take the next 2 weeks and shut the news off completely out of your life. No print journalism, no TV journalism, no radio. What you'll find after those 2 weeks, and you run that little experiment, is all of a sudden you're in a better mood, you're a happier person, you love your neighbors, you love your country, and everything just feels great. When you have these incorrect inputs, these things that are telling you you're a horrible person and your country sucks and the whole world's falling apart all the time, it has an effect on you, right? In the art business, the inputs are, it tends to be all of these charlatans, quacks. You know, they're selling vials of this, that, and the other off the back of a wagon, right? Like, you got to go do this. You got to go do that. Don't do that. That's a terrible way to do it. There's some marketplace over here. All of these inputs somehow get into artists and photographers' heads. And almost exclusively, they're all coming from people that have no success, that have sold no art online, that do not have a 100K year plus business. And so if you understand that and you're able to sort of audit your inputs and ensure that they are the right inputs, people that are actually seeing success, the marketing techniques and tactics that are actually working, that are backed up by data. If you get the nonsense inputs out, you're in a much better place and you're going to be on the path. You're going to be in the right direction. And the fifth is just perspective, the perspective of how long it takes. And, you know, go ahead. I'll unmute everybody. Let me know the artist or photographer that working on their business for 3 months has a 6-figure year business. I'll wait. Right? Like, it doesn't work that way. It takes 3 to 5 years, okay, of grinding to build anything of value. And especially if this is your first time pivoting to a DTC, direct to consumer business model, where you own all the contacts, you do all the marketing. So those are the 5 pillars of sort of what we define as a successful art business, what we advocate that all artists and photographers get onto this path. And all of our customers are on it currently, and they're on their way up. So that's what we do. That defines it. Nick, over to you, and you can take it.
All right. Thank you so much. If you guys nobody has their hand raised yet. So Tim to Christopher, do you want to ask a question? I saw your comment in the chat. So we're ready to take your questions. I do have a couple of comments on this, but just to remind you guys, if you hover your mouse over the participants button, or I'm sorry, over Zoom, you'll see the participants button. Click that. And then there's a raise hand button. You'll see it on the right-hand side, okay? And that's how you can raise your hand. It'll put you guys in order, and we'll go through them one by one. To introduce myself quickly, though, I'm Nick Friend. I'm CEO and owner of Art Storefronts. Obviously, I'm always excited to do some art business consulting with you guys. We've really found these sessions to be so valuable because, you know, everybody's got something that's in their way, their number one problem, whatever it is that's been holding you back. And what we've learned over here at Art Storefronts is that we can give you the best marketing plan in the world. We can give you the best technology. And we believe it is. We believe, you know, we're providing like a Ferrari for selling art in terms of the website technology. But it doesn't matter if you have these things in your way, if your drain is clogged, and you won't be able to use these things successfully. So it's really important that we get past these things, unclog your drain, whether you work with us or anybody else, you know, to help you move forward. But after all of that, you know, those 5 pillars that Patrick just went over are really important. And there are a couple of other things that I want to say, given that it's, you know, September, this particular time of year, and just some overall comments. So when you're listening to stuff like this, and when you're at the beginning of building a business, and or, you know, maybe you've been at it for a while, it can seem like a lot, right? Should I work on email? Should I work on Facebook? Should I do this? Should I do that? What exactly should I do tactically? And what I want to tell all of you guys is, you know, after being, you know, a 20+ year entrepreneur, I just want to tell you that all of these details, the books that you read, the information being thrown at you from blogs and podcasts from everywhere, from the news, like, set that all aside for 1 second. Seriously, set it all aside mentally, because there is one truth about building a great business. And if you don't get this right, it's over. Okay? You have to get this right. All right? The reason a business does well is because it's adding real value to real people. All right? That's what you have to get right. It's all about your customers. It's all about the people that you're showing your art to, that you're going to sell your art to. It is all about them. Learn how to give them value. Learn how to be useful, right, to people, and you will build a great art business. That's it. It's amazing how, like, doesn't matter what industry, you know, we're talking about here. Like, I advise a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm an investor as well. I've spent a long time building companies, and it amazes me how much that simple truth gets obfuscated, right? And if people are not focused on it, it's like they're not focused on being amazing to their audience and learning exactly what their audience wants and what's resonating with their audience, and really trying to do more of that. They're more like top down, and they're like, you know, what should my niche be, Mr. Professional? I'm trying to decide between these 3. Can you tell me what it is? Or, you know, I'm trying to figure out whether I should do, you know, Facebook ads, or I should do like YouTube ads or something like that, right? And it's like, wait a minute. You're not even amazing to your customers yet. What do they want? You know, you haven't even figured that out yet. And it's so, the thing is that as an entrepreneur, you can do so many things wrong if you just get that right. If you just get that right. So I want to tell you guys that, because look, I've been distracted by this for many, many, many years. Somebody in my company will say something like, well, Nick, well, you know, what about profitability? And it'll be like a CFO type, right? And then all of a sudden my mind is over there, and I'm like, for a couple of hours, I'm like, oh wait, there's some issue here with profitability and da-da-da-da-da-da. And my mind is completely taken off adding value to the customer at the end of the day, because that's really all that matters. And I notice that it has a negative impact. It's really, really interesting. Okay. So make sure you guys get that right. That's where the gold is. If you get that right and you focus on that, you literally cannot lose. Okay. The second thing is that a website is not enough. A website is not enough. Many of you have already learned that. If you haven't learned it, you will learn it at some point. Okay. There's a stat that we quote quite often here, and I think it's really important. And it is that 99% of all Shopify stores fail. Okay. Google that. 99% of all Shopify stores fail. You can do it after this session, okay? It's very, very important because whether it's Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, GoDaddy, WordPress, Samcart, Zenfolio, Smugma, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All these generic types of websites, okay? They're not enough, all right? Because just because you have a website does not mean you have solved the marketing problem, and it doesn't mean you have a business, okay? Until you solve the marketing problem and create some sort of engine where your business is generating leads, okay, and turning those into sales on a consistent basis, you don't have a business, all right? So the reason that 99% of all Shopify stores fail, or any of these website platforms fail, is because you have to solve the marketing problem. Okay, you have to solve the marketing problem. Otherwise, this Ferrari that you might have for selling art, right? And we feel that it is, as I mentioned, has no gas in the tank. And so all it's doing is sitting in your driveway. It's sitting in your driveway and nobody's even using it. The gas is the marketing, okay? And once you actually start doing a lot of the marketing, you obviously want to be able to drive that traffic to a website that is designed to provide an amazing experience for art buyers. Right? So you can convert the maximum number of visitors into buyers. So you're not wasting any of your time on the marketing. All right. But it's so important to understand that a website is not enough. You have to solve the marketing problem. So if you do that, you're going to be ahead of many other people. Third thing here is that fourth quarter is right around the corner. And for those of you who didn't know, it's the biggest art selling time of the year. For a lot of artists and photographers, 40 to 50% of their art sales happen in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, is October, November, December, to clarify, right? So it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the period before that, and all the period after that for like the whole, holiday period. And it is just a massive time. It's a time when all the people, consumers are pulling out their wallets. They're looking for deals. They're planning on making a lot of purchases at that time of year. So you have to participate in that. If you're not participating when the demand for art is all happening, all that happens is you miss out, and then all the demand is sucked out of the market and there's none left for you, right? Doesn't make any sense at all. So you have to execute at the best selling times for art throughout the year, all right? And this fourth quarter happens to be one of them, which is really exciting. The last thing is that, the opportunity right now for you guys, I have to tell you, as a 20-year art industry veteran, is just, it's never been this good. And I'm not just saying that. It's just, the fact that this situation has happened, it's been unfortunate with this pandemic, but it has taken the offline market and it has shifted all of it online. And the more business that goes online, the more you guys win. The more the individual artist and photographer who normally cannot compete, throughout all of these places in the US that are selling art on a retail basis, right? Just think about it. Think about the United States and think about like putting pins in the map. Every gallery, that's out there, every art show across the country in every state, right? There's a gazillion of them that would normally be happening, and you can't participate in any of that, right? You normally would maybe have a local gallery or a couple of them that might work with you if you got that far, or some local art shows in your state, in your city, or something like that. But the entire US, right, since all of that has shut down, has all gone online, which has dramatically increased the market size for all of you. And while it's sad overall, I mean, I will totally admit, it's hard to be excited about that, when it's something that's like kind of negative that's happened to our country and to the world for that matter. But the more business, this is the lesson, the more business that goes online, all right, the better it is for the individual creator who is running their own art gallery business out of their home, right? Which is essentially what you guys want to be thinking about. That's what you're doing. And that's what we're trying to help you do, is build your own business. It's essentially an art gallery business, just like a retail business, but it just happens to be at your house. And where you're selling direct, marketing to your own customers, you own everything, right? You own your lead list, your customer list, you make the most money from your art. And this is the way that you ultimately generate consistent income and have something that you can retire on or pass to the next generation, whatever your goals are. Okay. So that's all I've got right now. I'm going to start taking your hands. I've got Annette, Erica, and Zach have their hands raised. If anybody else wants to raise their hands and get in line, please do that. I'd love to talk to you. This is your chance, right? Like get your drain unclogged, figure out what it is that's been holding you back, and let's get you moving forward, right? There's no reason to wait around. If you're not comfortable raising your hand and talking, you can always put a question in the chat box. And as I go through some of these people, I'll flip back and forth and try to answer those. All right. So Annette, let's go to you. I'm going to unmute you. You might have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Hi there.
You might have gone over this and I jumped in a little bit late, but when you had, you were showing the websites and all the different options, do you have resources for like having your paintings on metal and different, or the artists would find that themselves?
So do you mean do we have like automated print fulfillment where you can get your, yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. That was my question. Thank you.
You got it. Yeah. So we have automated print fulfillment. It is optional, you guys. It's just a feature. If you have a printing company that you already like and you want to self-fulfill, as we call it, you can do that as well. But the automated print fulfillment, it's actually, that whole program is my baby. For those of you who don't know me, I started a company called Breathing Color in 2003. It's the largest fine art canvas, photography paper, and fine art paper manufacturing company in the US, and one of the biggest in the world. And so I have been involved in high-end fine art and photography printing for a very long time. So our program is very, very nice. We've got all the media types that you could want, from the high end down to like the decorative art level. And you get when your order gets printed and sent out, you have a box with your logo on it on the exterior. It's really professional, really high quality. So it's a great service. But if you don't want to use it, like I said, you don't have to. Okay, let's go to Erica next. Just unmuted you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I got you now. Hi, Erica.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear. Hello, can you hear me? I can hear you. You hear me?
Yes. What's your question today, Erica?
Okay, my question is, if you already have a website set up, how difficult is it to connect the shopping feature, or would you suggest that you create a new website with storefronts?
You can go either way. It's very easy to do. So there's really no change in the setup. You have to set up the store and everything at Art Storefronts anyway. And then you can just add a link on your existing website that says, what we recommend is just put shop art in your navigation menu. And then that will open up your Art Storefronts art gallery, right? With all the functionality and everything that we just showed, everything that you need.
Okay, and I basically need coaching with everything. I just put my website up like 2 days ago and I started getting a response and I'm just totally not ready. I wasn't ready. So the whole idea of having assignments to do every day is like really attractive to me because I desperately need it. I don't even know about like taking a picture of my work and what type of resolution it has to be, or can you just take pictures from your phone to be, for prints? I don't know anything. So is there any specific place?
Yeah, so we have an article specifically on image capture, on like capturing your artwork. April, can we get that in the chat window and in the show notes so that Erica can read that? It's awesome. It was actually written by about 10 of our members, who we asked them to get together. They had a lot of experience in capturing like artwork for, you know, high resolution printing. And so they put together a phenomenal article on, you know, if you want to use your iPhone to take the pictures, you can. It's not like totally advised, but you can. And they show you how to do it. And then if you want to take the next step up, they show you like the cheapest way to purchase a refurbished camera and a lighting kit off of Amazon that is not expensive to take them yourself, and exactly how to do it. So that article is really, really helpful.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm like ready to sign up. So thank you. And
awesome. Thank you, Erica. And by the way, anybody that's looking to learn more, your next step is to request a demo. So if you're, you know, in Zoom here in the chat, there's a link there to request a demo. You'll have to, actually, let's get one. That's a different link. April, can we get a link to request a demo? If you're watching this live on Facebook, there's a link in the post, in the description of this post, and you should see it there. And what happens is you just fill out that form. It takes about 20 seconds. And then one of the members on our outreach team will reach out to you, and they'll take a look at your art, talk to you about your goals and, you know, what you're looking to do. And then they can do a one-on-one screen share and show you every single detail that you want to see about art storefronts, all the different features for the website, the back end, and obviously the marketing consulting product. They can go over all the pricing in detail and all of the different options, and you can see all of that. So if you want to learn more about any of that stuff or art storefronts in general, your next step is to request a demo. By the way, I should mention too that this morning we announced that we were running a summer sale, and we just decided to extend it this morning due to the demand for everybody trying to get, you know, signed up before the fourth quarter, you know, get equipped with the proper art gallery website and get their marketing in order. So we extended the summer sale today for September. So it's a really good time to save money and join art storefronts. So make sure you ask about that when you request a demo. Okay, let's go to Zach next. Zach Book, I just unmuted you.
Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
Yes, how's it going?
Not too bad. It seems like you're doing a lot for the art community, and we appreciate that. I had a question about your servers. Do you use a shared server, dedicated server, or VPS server?
Dedicated, AWS.
Okay, and so that leads to my next question of load time. Some of the research shows anything over 3 seconds, you're likely to lose that customer acquisition. They're going to leave your page. Do you know your average load times?
All I know is, you know, the answer is no. I mean, we pay attention to that. I don't know it off the top of my hand, but I think what matters is results and success more than anything, right? And, you know, our members are selling more than ever. They come from other websites like that are out there. Name any one of them: Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, and their sales go up like after coming here. And I think the credibility comes from like speaking to our members as well about like how we deal with the websites and the performance, you know, as we're constantly adding features and functionality over time.
And then when you build the website, is that more of a template format, or is somebody customizing with their own coding for you?
No, it's all templated, just like a Squarespace.
Okay, and then is that modifiable? And then what program would you recommend if it is?
I mean, it's modifiable, but we just don't recommend doing it. Like, we don't recommend anybody really modifying it unless they really understand what they're doing. Because
I'm sorry, I'm typically a WordPress guy. I mean, is it based off WordPress or some other platform?
No, it's 100% custom.
Okay.
Like, it's written by ourselves. But if your intention is to modify like a lot of the platform, like you're probably going to negate any of the benefits that we've added, because everything is designed like for the last 7 years and optimized like 1,000 times based on conversion rates and all of that stuff. So what we always say to people in your position is like, if you're going to start with us, at least start with what we give you and make sure that your sales are good. Because if they're not, like, If they're not good, then there's something else is the problem. And we don't want it to be like customizations that you've made that negate everything that we've like learned, you know?
Sure.
And we want that, frankly, taken off your plate. Like,
yeah,
the real value is in the marketing. It's not in making website optimizations, you know?
sure. And then with your AR technology, is that steadily improving, or
It
is
is.
that just a one-time deal, or do you guys do that yourself, or is that outsourced, or how's that all working?
Everything is internal.
Okay.
Everything is internal. We're constantly updating.
And then in terms of any future modifications, when you buy the plan, is this like you get upsold in the future, or is it all included for the future, or how's that work?
So when you request a demo, you'll see on the pricing that our top plan, which is like the gold plan, it's actually our main plan, right? We have one plan at Art Storefronts, and we created financing options, you know, at a certain point because people wanted to be able to get in at a lower level. But there's one plan, and it's the gold plan to have everything and be properly equipped. And you'll notice on the pricing, if you buy that plan, it includes all future website features, okay, at no extra charge. So the people that bought that plan 6 years ago, you never pay extra to upgrade. You just get everything.
Okay. And then in terms of kind of the drop shipping or, you know, direct to consumer of the prints, would you say that's like cost comparable to, you know, other shops around, you know, your favorite print shop kind of thing, or more or less expensive, or how's that all compare, in your opinion?
So we work with Bay Photo and Graphic Dimensions, okay? So with Bay Photo, some of the items, like off the bat, you'll get like a 5% discount. Some will be like roughly the same. It won't be higher. And then with Graphic Dimensions, like there's some pretty substantial discounts. So
Okay.
yeah, because we're working with, and even with Bay Photo, there's going to be some even more competitive options because we're working with them on certain media types that I want to see in the platform that we already have with Graphic Dimensions that are like they're premium options, but they're also price competitive, which lowers the price to you guys and gives you a lot more margin. So yeah, and also there's exclusive discounts that you get like around like certain times of the year. We will work with our partners. Like the thing that we try to do is when we are advocating that you should discount like around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for example, right? It's a good idea from a marketing standpoint to have a discount strategy during that time. What we do is we work with our print fulfillment vendors and we ask them to discount as well during those times, okay? So that like everybody's kind of passing it along and the artists are getting help, so the margin is not completely coming out of your pocket. So it's a really cool partnership, and this year we've done it all year long. So like, and also last Black Friday and Cyber Monday, they both agreed to do that. They did it for Valentine's Day, they did it for Mother's Day, they did it for Father's Day, they just did it for the summer sale, and they'll be doing it again for this fourth quarter. So that's another great benefit of, you know, of those specific vendors.
Sure. What is the highest conversion to, you know, monetize these things? Is it prints? Is it metal prints? Is it the originals? Do you have data on that? And does that help us?
It doesn't help because everybody's different. Everybody is so different in like what they're selling and what their price points are. We have people selling originals only. We have people selling limited editions only. We have people selling open editions only. We have people selling all three of those. We have people selling two of those. They have completely different price points, subject matters. They put completely different effort into their business. You know, if you don't do the marketing, your conversion rates are going to be way lower, right? Like by definition, like that's how it works. And so everybody's individual effort into their marketing and how good they do their marketing, right? How effective their marketing is going to like, you know, tip the scale one way or the other. So the thing that I will tell you is just from my own experience that like, if you're asking for like what the hot media types are, like metal is extremely hot and has been for a couple of years. Canvas and metal are the biggest sellers on the platform.
Okay. And then in terms of marketing in the future, I mean, where do you see this industry going besides our modern COVID sort of situation?
I mean, the question you're asking is, I'll tell you where I see it, like what I see happening. I see the marketing landscape changing every 6 months like it does every single year. That's what I see. It's always changing, right? The goalposts are always moving. And so we always have to stay ahead of that and constantly be testing and iterating in order to help our members get advantages.
Okay, and then your payment vendors, are those fixed or can you swap those out?
The payment vendors?
Yeah, your you know, whether you're using Square or, you know, Visa or whatever, you know, kind of
so we use
PayPal kind of stuff.
Right now we integrate with PayPal and Stripe.
Okay.
So you can use either one, either or both actually.
So you can give them.
Oh no, sorry. We also have authorized.net. I almost forgot. We have authorized.net as well.
Okay. I think that's it for my questions.
All righty. Thanks, Zach. Rick Richardson, you're next. I just unmuted you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey,
how's it going?
Good. Talked with you, I think, last week as well.
I remember, yes.
I was anonymous. I decided to put my mug out for a minute, but
good to see you.
I got a couple of questions, obviously. I wondered about integrating audio or music or videos on the websites. Is that a possibility?
Yes, videos. I mean, what do you mean by audio? Like just an audio file or
music? Like if you're going, you know, like if I set it up, I have a gallery of images and I have a piece of music that I think would kind of.
You're talking about background music?
Yeah.
That's like a big no-no.
It is. That's what I was going to
It's a major no-no.
Like, I had a feeling, but
for like the last 10 years, it's like just do not do that no matter what you do. Like for any website, not just art, but anything, just no music. Yeah.
Okay.
But videos and all that stuff, like can you add videos to your page, you know, to different pages and to your products and things like that? Of course. Yes.
Yeah. I think you mentioned that Andy Crawford was doing that, right? The photographer. So
well, he's doing that. I mean, we're coaching all of our members to be doing a lot more video in their marketing in general, not necessarily like on their website, right?
So
some of them have videos on their website, like they'll put them in their blog, or they might have like a video for like a specific piece, like an original painting or something that they like, you know, have a story to tell on. So they might put a video on that page where you're shopping for it. And I think that makes a lot of sense. But generally speaking, the videos that you're creating are more about what you're going to be doing in marketing.
Okay.
And publishing to like Facebook, Instagram, and things like that. And we literally show you how to do that in excruciating detail. So don't worry, like you don't have to figure it out. If you're going to join up with us, like we've got the whole thing like step by step laid out.
Yeah. Okay. So I had with the labs that you're mentioning that you work with now, do we have the option to use both of them, and like one for particular items? Like I think you referred to the fact that Graphic Dimensions has some products that Bay Photo doesn't, and you're working with them to try to bring those online as well from Bay Photo. Is that correct?
Yeah, but they basically both have a similar offering. Like they're not missing any of the key things, right? Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, right now the answer is no. But we are actually like, I think like 3/4 or maybe halfway through the development to make that happen. So in like maybe a month or two, you will be able to kind of say like, oh, you know what? I want Bay Photo to fulfill my metal, but I want Graphic Dimensions to fulfill my, you know, posters or something like that.
Right. So is it determined by your geographical location? Which one?
No, you actually just choose. Yeah, so you choose. And people sometimes switch back and forth. Like if they're not happy with one for some reason, right to the other, you know?
Yeah, because I was looking at trying to get a sample print, you know, when that we got an email giving a discount for non-members. And I kind of wanted to maybe see if I could sample those, because a big problem I've had with some printers is the color green. when I do natural settings. And I had a lab in California that seemed to nail it, but none of the local labs where I am seem to be able to get it.
I would, in that case, I would definitely recommend Bay Photo. Okay. Because they're more, like when it comes to like color correction or, you know, specifics like that, I think they're going to be more interested in like helping you with that. So you can go to, actually, April, do we have a link for buying from Bay Photo without being a member yet? I don't know that we do. You could just go to Bay Photo's website, you know?
Yeah, I'm familiar with them. I've never ordered anything from them, but I think I've been to the site a couple of times before.
I would just order something really small and inexpensive, you know, and then see the quality there and then, you know, and then you can kind of go from there. The other thing that you can do, if you know that you're going to work with us, right? One way or the other, you're going to use self-fulfillment or you're going to use automated fulfillment. So you can sign up and then you can, you know, just buy a print really easily in the back end with like a discount and then, you know, start working with Bay Photo on like the correctives, you know, for it.
And I think that it had been mentioned, I don't know if it was on the Zoom meetings or somewhere else, I think they were, or something I read that I've been getting that recommends not like throwing everything out on the website right away. Start with maybe 10 pieces or so, and then you can add from that. It's like 10, like a base to try to have on your website to start.
Well, we just say like, you know, it's more of a thing where like people over perfectionist their images and they're like, they don't launch their site for like 6 months because they're trying to get 300 or 500 images on there. And they want to like enter in every piece of information and they do that instead of launching with their best sellers, their most popular items, at least, you know, that people have given them feedback on and getting those and starting the marketing, right? Like you need to start the marketing. You need to start capturing emails. You need to start like doing all of that. And so we want you to just start with whatever your best representation is, get your website live, and then add the other stuff over time.
Okay, so when you start, you basically go through I think it's the 1 through 4, something that the gentleman was showing earlier as a beginner. That's what you do first. Then they kind of take a look at the website to make sure everything is in order like it needs to be before it's actually launched. So it easily could be a couple of weeks, 3 weeks at that point if you have to make some changes, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So here's the process. I'll take you through it. Like it's very simple onboarding. The first step is we want you to get your website live in 14 days. We call it the 14-day website launch. Okay. We've got all the guides, you know, to help you do that. And our support team is fantastic, but we want you guys to get that done because you need to just check that box off and then start working on the marketing, not tinkering with code or anything else that's on there because it's not going to do anything for you. Okay. So you get that done. The next step is you go to what we call the marketing launch workshop, right? And that's where they do website audits to make sure that you've set everything up according to best practices. All right. This is all like provided to you, by the way, when you sign up. So they do in the marketing launch workshop, they do website audits, and then they also get you started on your first marketing initiative. It's the first thing that we want everybody to do after as their first marketing task, right? It's going to get your feet wet. It works really well for a lot of people. And so you do that and they help you get that done. And then the final step is from there, you're then following the art marketing calendar regularly on an ongoing basis. And then you're attending the private office hours workshops, which are Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Central every single week. And that's where we're providing like the mentoring and coaching for our members, you know, specifically on the tactical.
Okay. Is that something that's recorded if I can't make it on some?
Everything's recorded. Absolutely. Okay. Everything is recorded, which also means that all the ones that you've missed up until now are all in there.
Oh, goodness.
They're all in there. So all the strategy that's been going on that we, you know, if you want to go back and watch some of these sessions, they're fantastic and they're labeled nicely. So you can look at like the topics, and see which ones might appeal to you. And you can go and just kind of binge on those and get a ton of valuable information.
Okay. Another question. I've been battling back and forth with the name. I've got several domain names reserved and reserved 2 more last night. So this is on a personal note for you, just your subjective opinion. I've got Patrick, when I talked to him the other day, he thought that Ricky Richardson sounded cool. It was neat. He just liked that. That's my first.
Cool.
That's my full first name. I've had Ricky A. Richardson. I've done R.A. Richardson. And we kind of discussed this before, where I thought that because my last name was so long, that it would be problematic. And you like Richardson Fine Art, but it's not available. So what I'm wondering is if
do you have RickyRichardson.com?
Do I have RickyRichardson.com?
Yeah.
I know I have RickyRichardsonFineArt.com because I did that yesterday. I know I have RaRichardsonFineArt.com. I have to check to see if I have Ricky Richardson, to be honest with you.
Ricky Richardson is pretty awesome. It's really memorable. So you could go, RRFineArt.com if it's available, if in that case, I would buy like RickyRichardsonFineArt.com and then RRFineArt.com, because when you're telling people to go to your website, like verbally, it's easier to just say RRFineArt.com, but you'll want both of those options, because you can forward one of those domains to the other. And so you can use them however you want to.
All right,
you can't go wrong with either of those though.
So Ricky Richardson fineart.com or R Richardson, but not the RAR.
I think it's too much.
Yeah, I threw the A in there because it sounded so, I don't know, Ricky Richardson or Rick Richardson sounds like a stage name, and I was trying to put the middle initial in there to break it up, but I get you on that.
It's really memorable is the thing. You know what I mean? Like if I saw something, I'm thinking from that perspective, like if I was scrolling in my feed and I saw Ricky Richardson, like, it's like, I would remember that. Like my brain, it's very easy to remember that. And then I see it the next time. The longer name is harder to remember. If I'm telling it to somebody else, it's like the way I think about these things sometimes from a branding perspective is cognitive load, right? Like lightening the cognitive load as much as possible.
Yeah.
And like that, that obviously will do it.
RickyRichardson.com, not Ricky Richardson Fine Art, because it's longer.
If you can get RickyRichardson.com, I would just go with that. Yeah.
Okay. Good deal.
In fact, I would probably buy them both if I were in your shoes, but I would have RickyRichardson.com be your main one, 100%. Like for sure.
I've got Rick Shots Fine Art and all kinds of stuff.
I know you're like me. I do the same thing.
Okay, I think I got all of them done on my questions, except the last one with the, two, it's combination. The, when you're like the activation fee and the website fee, do we pay tax on those when you're doing that? Is it just a straight fee for each one of those items?
It's just a straight fee. We include the tax in it if you're, it's already included essentially. So
okay,
there's nothing on top of that number that they show you.
Okay, shoot, that last one just jumped right out of my head after you said that. The virtual rooms that you have now, when you talk about different updates and stuff, have you ever had to, or have you ever updated your virtual walls?
We have.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we also have, we've got an article that shows you how to replace them if you want. So you can have your own custom ones.
Really?
Yeah. I would not bother with that 1 second. We only have it because some people have asked for it. Some people are really keen on customization and things like that. They usually sell less than every single person on the platform. I do not recommend changing those. It's a waste of time. They work really well. Just focus on the marketing.
Yeah, well, the data on that definitely doesn't encourage you to do it. Sure.
It doesn't. I'm telling you, it's their lateral moves. They are low ROI moves. That's the key, right? Like I talk about this a lot with our members, and I'll tell you guys this today. And I talk about it along with my employees as well. They'll get sick of me for saying this, but it's the 80-20, right? With any, like whether it's like with any task that you're working on or any project you're working on, or in the case of like website optimization, there's an 80-20, which means that, you know, once you have optimized the thing to death, right? Every single like incremental little tweak that you make is so small that it's just not worth your time. And more often than not, it actually hurts you. It takes you in the opposite direction, right? So the upside potential is so small, but the downside is so high. And then, you know, you also need to be able to like run a scientific A/B test with statistical significance. Most people have no idea what that even means. If you don't know what that means, you should not even ever even think about changing anything, because you need to run like an A/B test, which is like version A, version B against each other. And you need to have enough data on it to be able to understand which one the winner is. And the only way that you can do that is if it's statistically significant. And so you can look up that if you even care about it, but that's not why people join art storefronts. They join art storefronts because they know we've taken care of all of that for you. And so, you know, those little things are just like tiny, tiny little things. Whereas the big levers for you, the big ROI is in the marketing, is getting out there and getting your eyeball in front of more people. So if you're going to spend any time on the business, we want it being spent on marketing, right? On, you know, lead generation and things like that.
Okay, I remember my other question. I've already done the demo, been through all of that. If you're at the point where it's like, okay, let's do this, what do? You try to contact the person that you talked to that took you through the demo, and then wait for them to respond back to you and just email them?
Yeah, that's what I would do, is just email them. If it's been a while, I would just request another demo, and it'll like move you to like the top of the queue, and they'll see it there too. If you're looking to move forward quickly, I would put in another demo request and email whoever you were working with, and they'll get back to you right away.
I think it was I think it was last Monday.
Okay, I would just put in another one.
Really?
Yeah, I just put in. I mean, you can email them, but if you're willing to wait a day, they'll probably get back to you in a day. But if you put in another demo request, it's almost like just double pinging them. So it's up to you. I know the inside track, so I know if you put in another demo request, it's going to ping them again. You know?
Okay, good deal. Well, thanks for the time and thanks for the information. Thanks for your personal choice. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, no problem at all. All right, guys, there's no more hands up. So if anybody else wants to raise their hand, I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat now. Tim DeChristopher, did you figure out how to raise your hand? You didn't. I can unmute you if you want. In fact, I'll do that right now. You can decline, no problem. But I'm trying to find you here. Okay, I just unmuted you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
How's it going?
I've lost my my page. You're not on my screen, so I don't know where I'm.
Well, I see you and hear you, so go ahead.
Oh, you see me too. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still very curious. I'm wondering one thing about. I want to limit what I might be trying to sell to a very specific type of drawings that I do. And I basically, I'm still curious about how your price structure works, and where it starts and how I just haven't gotten that far. I haven't even talked to anybody yet. I think
so. That's definitely the next step for you. Like they'll show you that. I'll give you a price range. Normally the next question is, well, what does that all include? And it's like, there's like a gazillion things that each thing includes. And so that's where I ask everybody, like, request a demo so that our team can put a screen share in front of you and lay everything out and then go and show you all the features, right? Like in a demo and stuff like that. But the pricing for art storefronts ranges from a one-time membership fee. So I'll start at the entry-level pricing. There's a one-time membership fee. You only pay it once, you never pay it again, and you get marketing and business consulting for life. For life. Starts at $1,000 one-time fee, and then $44 a month. Okay. And then going up to our top plan, our main plan, It is $2,800 membership fee. Only pay it once, never pay it again. You get marketing consulting for life, and $59 per month. Okay. You can also get a cheaper rate on that monthly by paying annual. I think it's like a 15 or 20% discount if I'm not mistaken. Again, but they'll show you all of the detail between those plans, all the different features, what's included, what's not, and all of that. So your next step is definitely to request a demo if you want to get all that information.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Sounds good.
Excellent, Tim. Thank you. And again, guys, the link is in. If we can get another link to request a demo, oh, it's already there. It's already there. That's how great our team is. Thank you, April. Click that link down there in the chat to request a demo. Or if you're live on Facebook, you can also click on the link in the description on the post. Somebody will get back to you as soon as possible, and you can go from there. Okay, Jordan Arts got another hand up. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
I had to unmute as well. Hey, thank you so much. I've talked to you before, so I'm not going to take long. I already went through a demo. Really interested in what you guys are doing. Love the marketing stuff. Love it.
Awesome.
I'm a little unique for your clients in that I have like a 20-year experience in doing web development. So I'm going to want to, and I've been working for marketing people, giving them graphics and design. So I'm going to want to test the market with my own ideas. I think what you guys have as a package is by far the best thing that I have seen. So here's my thing. I'll just keep it real short. I know you have the webhook section of your backend, and I've been shown that in a demo, but no one was able to show me like how that's implemented or works. So I was just wondering
that's not for like integrations. It's for like fulfillment, like for people that are connecting to our API to receive orders. That's it. So
if there was some crazy marketing feature nobody's ever tried that was likely to fail that I wanted to try, is there a way to link to that from your website?
It's really not the place to be doing that. I'm just being real with you.
No. I got no. This was my last question, and I was like, you know what? I hadn't heard back, so I thought maybe I'll just reach out at this point. I wasn't going to actually ask you any questions because I know this is very technical.
Like different, like there's areas where you can add custom code and some scripts and things like that. Like,
right.
But it's like we just like to be real with people. It's like that you come here to get everything that we have put together and done, and focus on the high priority marketing, because nobody's spending enough time on marketing, you know?
You're right.
And
I'm worst case scenario for everything you're saying. Perfectionism right on down the line. It's like check. I'm like,
I know. And it's like, that's why a lot of the time when somebody's like, they're like, I'm a web developer and I'm going to go and like, I want to like work on it like WordPress. I'm like, go to WordPress, have fun.
Right.
Like that's your business decision. That's not where you're going to, like, there's no value in that. There's literally, websites are commodities. They are commodities these days. They've been commoditized like ice or orange juice, right? And it's like, ours is a commoditized product. It just it's not commoditized in the sense that we have all of the features for selling art, right? But with all of that in there, there's just no value in tinkering with all that stuff, you know?
Absolutely. No, I completely get it. And because I saw that, and there was the word webhook, and it wasn't something that I think most people would ever use. Therefore, the people who do your training and your demos, you know, it was more of a back end kind of thing. So they were going to get back to me with that, and I thought, you know what, that was my last question. I'll reach out now if anyone knows that it's going to be you, because I got a feeling you probably had some you were probably the earliest developer for this company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the architect. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that honestly, I'll be 100% clear. This is not what I've ever done for the majority of my business. It was always a value-added thing for Fortune 500 companies, and I really dabbled in it compared to what a professional developer does. So, yeah, it was a simple question. I realize it doesn't relate to the majority of your audience, so I'm not going to take any more of your time with it. But I thank you for answering.
No worries, of course, and it's a great question. Like you know, I love that question from Jordan because, like, you know, like it gives me the opportunity to explain, guys, like, you know, when you're running a business, this is again a lifelong like entrepreneur lessons that I've learned, right? Or lesson, and you can't be all things to all people, and I think it's like it's really important, and I think people also really respect it when you just articulate like what we're trying to do and what type of customer that we're after. and where it might not be a good fit, right? Like, I'm not saying that like every person in the world, like, you know, shouldn't like go and like, you know, write code on WordPress and go try to do it. All I'm telling you is the way is like our philosophy and what we've done. Like, we've spent millions and millions of dollars. Like, I've spent millions of my own money to build this platform, right? To like learn the hard lessons in conversion optimization and in the marketing and all of this stuff, right? And so I'm like, if you want to go and take on the world on your own and you think that's a good business decision, then like, hey, more power to you. Like, it's all good. But like, I just want you to know what we've done and what we're trying to do, because I want you, like, I would have my mom sign up for this. I'd have my grandma sign up for this, like if they were an artist, because it's like, I know as an entrepreneur where the high ROI activities are and where they're not, right? And if you have a platform that has already has all the features that you would ever need times like 100, right? And like there's really not much more. There's not much more to go. There's nowhere else to go, right? With that, to like maybe you can eke out another 0.25%, but I guarantee you it's going to take you 20 experiments to get there. That'll probably take you the other direction, right? But the real ROI that you learn in running a business is it's all about lead acquisition. It's the #1 metric. And if you really want to like dive deep on that, or it's not really a dive deep, but I did a video on this, like a little rant. Actually, I think I did a little presentation on it. Can we get that in the chat and in the show notes? The #1 metric for every art business is what it's called. And it just really shows you that, you know, if you're not spending 90% of your time on that, you're going in the wrong direction. And I really encourage everyone who thinks about writing code and optimizing this and customizing that to watch that and be thinking about that as you're doing those things, right? Because you will, the difference between doing one of those and like, you know, it's like you're working on the middle of the funnel is what it's called. Leads you already have, right? And so you better have a lot of that, because what you're working on is you're working on something that's really small. It's only the people that are in the middle of the funnel, right? And so whenever you work on stuff that's at the top of the funnel, like getting more leads, you're working on like a lever that's like 10 to 100 times the size, right? And so you'll realize soon enough that like, oh my goodness, I spent a month or two tinkering with this one thing, and you know, and then a month later, you're like, all I did was lead acquisition and I added 1,000 emails on my email list, and that got me 20 more sales. But that 2 months that I was spending on, you know, trying to tinker with this one thing literally got me nothing, you know? And it'll wake you up and you'll realize like, all I gotta be doing is adding more people. And in the meanwhile, you'll get 5 other emails or announcements from art storefronts. We added this feature. We added this feature. We optimized this. And they're all things that none of you asked for, because we saw it, and we saw it in the data, and we saw it through our tests, right? And so we're adding these things and people are like, oh my goodness, amazing. I didn't even know, or even know you guys were running that experiment. It's because we're running these experiments all the time. So I think it's a really good question, and it helps you understand whether like you agree with that philosophy and you want to like take those advantages and just bank them and focus on the things that'll really get you the growth, you know, or not. And I think you have to ask that question of yourself. And you also need to look at like, I think it's also extremely valuable to look at other artists and photographers who are selling $100,000 or more a year. What are they doing? They're not doing that. They're not focused on code. They're not optimizing their website. They are not even close to that. Let me just tell you, they aren't even close to doing that. They're all doing automated fulfillment, by the way, as well, because even people that started off self-fulfilling, like I can think of like at least a couple dozen Art Storefronts members that were really particular about it, right? You're really particular about it, especially when you have very little sales. But when you start selling about 50 grand a year, it becomes a nightmare. And you're like, how can you help me? Like, how can you help me take this off my plate? Because you're dealing with a lot of order volume at that point. And you realize that the time you're spending facilitating all of that order volume is a complete waste of time. Like, you're wasting your time while other people are not. And so that's where you really start figuring out those solutions. So I hope that helps. All right, I'm gonna move over to the chat real quick, guys, and see if there's anything else that I missed. And then I'll go to you, Amzi. Amzi's got his hand up. let's see here. The demo just keeps taking me back to the sign up page. Maybe just call the phone number then if you're having a trouble with the demo request form. There, on the demo request form, there's a phone number there. If you call that, one of our receptionists will answer and get you through or take a message, and that message will go to the outreach team like a demo request. Just say, I want to request a demo, having problems with the form, and you'll be good to go. Oh, there's a link to order from Bay Photo for Ricky if you wanted to in there. The last suggestion was awesome. Thanks. Thank you. Sorry, I just read a long comment, but there wasn't a question in it. So I don't have anything to say on that. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, just a reminder, guys, we're gonna be emailing everybody that attended the show notes, everybody on the Zoom call, you'll get the show notes. So anytime I said, hey, can you put that in the show notes? Can you put that in the show notes? You guys will get that, okay? Alexandria Ortiz, she asked me, did I read you are giving free advice or do we need to book a time for that? Raise your hand. I'm giving advice as we speak. That was a little bit ago, so maybe you haven't seen it. But if you go ahead and raise your hand, hover your mouse over the Zoom and you'll see the participants button down at the bottom. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see a raise hand button. And then that's how you can chat with me. Okay, cool. So that's it on the, that is it on, Rick Richardson asked, can you change your domain name after the website has been set up? Absolutely. You can change it anytime you want. No worries. Okay, Amzi, I'm going to you. You're next. I just unmuted you. Go ahead.
Okay, you started with a thing called about getting lead acquisitions, and I saw that as really an important part.
Super important.
Yeah. So I was thinking about the, got email lists and stuff like that. What other ways? My one question is, what other ways can you get lead acquisition? And two, is it seems to me what has done me the most in sales and monetizing my artwork is after the lead acquisitions, getting referrals.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of two questions, but they're in the same vein.
Well, I mean, the thing is that once you acquire a customer, right, you want to turn them into a collector, right? And then you want to get referrals, all the benefits that a customer should provide, right? The way that you're going to do that is by just having killer consistent marketing. Like that is the best way. And also, as a big part of that is the one-on-one hand-to-hand combat, as we call it, right? Like communicating directly with your leads and with your clients, right? In one-on-one emails and messages and things like that. We've got a whole playbook for that as well. As far as the lead acquisition is concerned, that's kind of our secret sauce, right? That's the big problem that everybody's trying to solve. So I can't get into like specifics because it wouldn't be fair to our members, but you're thinking the right way. Like that's the thing I want to tell you is like, you're thinking the absolute right way, that lead acquisition, like understand what that means and what it is, because it's the only thing that really matters, Like when we say that you got to have gas in the tank for the Ferrari, once you have the Ferrari, it's really lead acquisition. The funny thing about lead acquisition is like, if you're acquiring a lot of email addresses, you guys, like people are opting into your list and your following is increasing, like you can like do so many things wrong, there's so many things that you could execute wrong and you'll still get the sales. You'll still get the sales. Like you can work on like wall preview images all day long and other things, code, customizing colors and things like that. It won't matter. Like if you really are acquiring leads, you're going to like, your business is going to do great. Even if you're missing some other details in the marketing. That's why it's the most important thing. It's the most important thing, you guys, for every single business, not just artists. You're not growing if you're not acquiring leads. People always ask me like, what's the health, Nick, what's the health of my art business? How is it doing? And I say, I don't even need to see your artwork. I don't need to see anything. Just show me your sales for the last 6 months or like 9 months. And I want to see how many new email addresses you acquired on a monthly basis for the last 6 to 9 months. Just show me those charted out on a monthly basis along with your sales, and I'll tell you everything you need to know. Because if you're not acquiring emails, I know your marketing is terrible. I know you have no system for your marketing. I know you're probably not focused on it, you know, and I know it's your biggest problem. And it doesn't necessarily mean that your art, you know, is good or bad or anything like that. It just means that nobody's seeing it. Nobody's seeing it, you know, and you're not, if I ask you what you did, I'm sure I'm not going to hear, well, I tried this to acquire leads. I tried that to acquire leads. I tried this and I tried 15 things and I was experimenting with all these ways to bring in emails and leads, right? Like that's probably not what I'm going to hear. I'm going to hear things like, well, I set up my website here and then I changed it over here. Or then I started painting all this new stuff because I thought that would do it. Or I started shooting all this new stuff because I thought people weren't resonating with this niche, so I tried another niche. Or I was tinkering with my website, which I hear all the time, right? It could be any of those things.
I think it's really important for the artist to go above and beyond when they're working with once they get their lead acquisition. If they throw in an extra poster or print or something, make sure they get it out on time, you know, ship it out right away, because that's what will get you your referrals. I think that's the most important thing for me that I noticed. Yeah,
and I think the personal connection to me is like, I think all of that is part of the customer experience. I really believe in the customer experience. How could you not, right? Like Apple and Amazon, I mean, let's go down the list. These are trillion-dollar companies by focusing on customer obsession, right? Customer obsession. Why am I doing this here as the CEO and owner of the company, talking to you guys, right? I believe in it. I believe in it wholeheartedly. You know, I think that you do not build a business top down, you build it bottom up. You start with the customers, right? You start with the actual people, the real people that are, like in our case, artists and photographers who are running real businesses, right? And then you figure out exactly what's working and what they need, and then you build that as your product. You reverse engineer what they need as a product, not Nick Friend chooses what you guys all should use, you know, based on what I think, because I've been in the industry for 20 years. It's like, no, I want thousands and thousands and thousands of you guys, like, so that we can all work together to figure out what is working the best and then get everybody doing it, right? There might be 20 people at one point that do something that works really well. And then it's a different group of 20 that figure out something else. All of that comes back, you know, to the membership in the form of step-by-step playbooks, you know, in terms of the marketing, and then also, you know, feature updates for the website as well. Thanks, Amzi. All right, got some more hands. I got Susan, Alexandra, and David Diggs are next. Susan, you're first. I just unmuted you. Go ahead.
Okay, hi.
Hey there.
I have been making art for my whole life. Sold it once as a youngster and haven't sold anything since. I am totally green. You've been sending me some texts and I have zero, I'm challenged with the business aspect. And it seems to me that there's so much that you guys talk about. When do you have time to do your work? When do you do your art if you're running a business?
You do it, I would say you should be doing it like 80% of the time. And then 20% on marketing.
Okay. And so when you say marketing, it's developing a huge amount of, if I haven't sold anything in 50 years, how do I start doing that?
So when I'm referring to the marketing, I'm saying like, obviously like at Art Storefronts, we provide a marketing plan and marketing consulting, right? So we're trying to help you make the most effective use of your time because it's all based on what artists and photographers at Art Storefronts, real other members, right, have actually really truly done to make sales. It's not some theory. It's like, no, we're telling you to do this because it's already proven itself to work, right? Because we don't want you spending your time on anything that's not going to work. So it's the most effective use of your time. So that's what I'm saying when I'm referring to like, the 80-20. If you don't know what works, you're obviously going to be spending a lot of your time throwing things against the wall, trying to figure out what that is. And that's a lot harder. It's going to be a lot more frustrating, and you'll probably be spending less time creating. In regards to, what was your other question though?
I don't remember exactly what the second question.
Oh yeah, no, I remember. You're asking like, how should you get started in general?
Yes.
Selling again, right?
What
I would tell you is this: if you like, first of all, let's get our validation playbook. April, can we get the validation playbook in the chat, as well as I'd also like to add another resource in there. The Art Business morning session that Patrick and I did on running a flash sale. Susan, I want you to see both of these resources, okay?
Okay.
We're going to tell you exactly what to do to validate your art, to try to sell it again in a very simple way, because you got to keep things simple right now, okay? You're hearing a ton of information. You're going to hear a ton of information, right? If you're following us, and I recommend like, keep following us. Like I would listen to our podcast. That's kind of like where everything is aggregated. And you can get a ton of information to start educating yourself and understanding the way that you want to approach the business before you really go after it. But those two resources right there is what I would watch right away, and nothing else, and go do that. Follow the advice in that. So keep it very simple, right? Don't drink from a fire hose. Go do that. Go sell a couple of pieces, and then come back to one of these sessions when we do another one. And then let me know how it goes.
Okay. So I guess the number one thing would be request a demo and take it from there.
Well, if you have not sold your art in a long time,
yes.
Okay, you can certainly request a demo and find out about what we do, more details about what we do and the pricing and all that. But what I'm telling you to do right now, it actually supersedes that. Okay, because I want you to go sell a piece of art right now, today or tomorrow. And I think you can, if you follow this resource that we gave to you.
Okay, and you say in the chat, and I'm looking at you right now, and I don't see.
So hover your mouse over Zoom so you can see the whole bottom bar goes up. And then,
I'm on the phone. I'm on my.
Okay. Well, you're on our email list because you had to put your email in to get on the Zoom call. We're gonna email you these resources after the session. Okay. Just remember this. Remember this if you can. The validation strategy and running a flash sale. Watch those two. Okay.
Yeah. You got it. You got it. Thank you.
Okay. You got it, Susan. All right. Alexandria Ortiz, you're next. I just unmuted you.
Thank you.
Hey there.
So I want to just compliment you on all the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I did go out and download a whole bunch of art podcasts, and I have to say I've unsubscribed and deleted them all. They're just not as good as yours is.
Good for you.
Pardon?
I said good for you. I'm proud of you. That's great. I say that because it shows me that it shows me the type of person you are. You're taking a learner's approach to it, and you're investing in yourself, to educate yourself to get better. And I already like what I'm hearing.
No. And I have to say, all those emails every day, I was like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not going to think about this. But then I keep getting them, and the information is so good. I'm actually listening. So kudos to you, doing a great job. So, so this is my question. I'm not quite ready to launch an art business. For many reasons, but I would like to position myself to do that in about a year or two. And so that was my question.
Why a year or two? Let me ask.
I have some priorities that I'm taking care of right now, and I realize the time and commitment it will take to.
The only thing that I would tell you is that it's a good idea You know, like a lot of people ask me this as like a mentor. Like I mentor a lot of entrepreneurs, and they're like, you know, I just want to like, should I just quit my job and just start my company? And I'm like, no, no, do not do that. Like you need to like, if you could start watering it a little bit. Like, don't go like lose your income, right? And I know you're not necessarily saying that, but building a business takes time. And I think that if you can afford it, right? Because you have to pay the membership fee no matter what, whether you pay it now or 2 years from now. So that's like a fixed cost, right? After that, there's just the monthly fee. So if you can pay for the monthly fee, right? Like you can slow grow this business and really get better, like, and just do the tasks that you can do. Start, because you really like my biggest concern for you is that like, if I was like, okay, I'm eyeing like that I'm going to start a business like 2 years from now, the number one thing that you could do is start building an audience, start building a following, and not really care too much about it, not stress about it. Like you'll miss things here and there, you'll miss marketing and stuff like that. But if you do some marketing and you start building things like, you know, like you're creating things and you're posting them, like you're going to build a following, you're going to build an email list, and it's going to really benefit you at the time you start taking it seriously. If you can't create art and you can't do that, then obviously there's no point. But if you can, it makes sense to kind of water that plant just a little bit.
Right. So that's why I wanted your advice, because I have started doing that. So so my husband and I own a brewery and I run a tap room. So I do host in-person art shows, and I do I give away a little piece and do a drawing. So that's how I'm collecting emails. So I am starting to collect emails of people who are interested in my pieces. And then I have several thousand people that follow me personally on Instagram. And then I have a separate account that also has several thousand. And my question where I need some advice is I need to maybe focus a channel so that when I'm ready, I'm not so spread out and so I'm not, I think I have too many things I need to somehow consolidate.
What do you mean by that?
I only have so much time to do a good job at something or to post regularly. Like I have an Instagram account with about 5,000 followers that I honestly in the last year haven't had a chance to continue to nurture.
Is that from like posting art like beforehand, or is that from like your tap room?
No, that's personal. So about 2 years ago, I took on marketing and just learning more. And I do like to do some photography. And so that's my photography website, or not website, but just my Instagram. And that's why I say I'm not ready, because I do a little of this, a little of that. I'm more of a hobbyist. There's no structure. There's no plan. There's no cohesiveness whatsoever.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. This is how it always starts. So I'm proud of you for getting what you have. That's not unsubstantial. That's not trivial. Like you're like it, for the fact that you've been at it as a hobbyist and you've got, that following, you're way further along than a lot of people. So what I would tell you is I've got the same advice for you as I had for Susan right before you, which is run a flash sale, run the validation playbook, run a flash sale.
So the flash sale is just basically offering if somebody wants to buy something you have, right?
Yes, watch it. We give you every detail. Okay.
So I do have a few of my pieces hanging in the tap room, and I do have people that ask to buy them. There is one in particular people always want to buy, and I never sell it because
why?
It means a lot to me.
Well, but can't you buy another print?
It's on the list of things to do that make prints of it, because I don't want to sell the original. So. Yeah.
But you can make prints so easily, like literally in like 1 minute, you could take their address and you could put an order in the art storefront's back end when you have an account, and you could drop ship it right to their house.
Yeah, and I've had my girls call me. I mean, I had some just junky stuff I was playing with, and some customers wanted to buy it. So I was like, okay, whatever they want to give me, I'm just going to throw those away.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like with the flash sale, you'll see, like you'll watch the video, but what you should do, keep those ones, right? Don't worry about those. You're not trying to sell those. Buy another print. A print's only going to cost you $25. You know what I mean? Or $50. And you could probably sell it for $200 or, you know, whatever you want. You'll figure that out. We talk about that in the video. Okay. But my point there is that given everything that you told me, okay, you're like, I want you to like have a moment in time here with everything that you've done. Okay. You haven't sold the stuff that people wanted to buy. You built this 5,000 person following, right? You're thinking about starting this thing in 2 years. I want to put some teeth to this thing and I want you to go sell 1 or 2 items and do it. Cause I think that's going to like really change your mindset and help you figure out what the next move is. Right. Because otherwise you're just, you know, keep doing what you're doing, I guess. Right. Like you either need to like you're obviously not going to go from like on a scale of 0 to 10 in terms of like seriousness and effort. Right. You're at like a 1. Okay. But it's worked out really well for you. What I'm saying is we know you're not going to a 10 until 2 years from now. Maybe you'll even be an 8 to 10. Right. But you might want to take that to a 3. And if you do, that could really benefit you.
Okay. So this is my question, because this is something that I have made a commitment to do. And this has more to do with building out my other business that I've kind of wanted to dovetail. And I do want to start a YouTube vlog for the brewery. We just purchased an 18-passenger van, which we're going to be converting. So I am going to be vlogging about, you know, van life. And I do love to take photos. So I thought that I could potentially build out the blog and the YouTube following and then sell my prints, like people would find out. The question that I have is, I'm not sure to do that on my personal YouTube or to build that on the business YouTube or to somehow integrate them.
Well, first off,
to do that.
First off, you want to do it on Facebook and Instagram, not YouTube necessarily. And I'm not, it should go on YouTube as well, but the attention is on Facebook and Instagram. That's where your following is. So you post it there, and then you might also post it to your YouTube channel. But if you don't have an existing YouTube following, nobody's going to see it, right? Like you need to post it to those channels. The other thing I'm thinking though is that like everything you're talking about is exactly the type of content that you should also be posting for your art business. So like, it's all like, there's people that we have that literally are doing exactly what you do. They're in a van or they're in an RV and they're going around the country and they're documenting the whole thing. And that's part of the romance marketing that we advise them on, right? The different types of content that they should post, you know, for that, and all the different things that they can do.
Okay, so you're saying then that, so then my question is, what's the best way to integrate my personal with the business? Because I'm doing this for the business I want to build a membership club for the brewery. And we're going to be going out with the brewery. But as I'm going out, I'm also taking pictures. What is the best way, in your opinion, to integrate the personal sales with the business sales? Because I can leverage my business.
You're saying your personal Facebook account versus your business? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, because I can also post on the business account. Then I mean that's another 15,000 followers between those accounts. I'm just wondering what's the best way to. I'm not quite sure how to organize.
You ultimately should try to move everybody over to your business account that you can, but don't stress about this. Like you have audiences on both, right? It's no different than like the reason that we okay, so here's a way to look at it. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube are the modern day CNN, Fox News, ABC, right? They're just broadcasting platforms. Okay. And so for you on Facebook, when you have your own personal audience and then you have a business audience, you know, and people are either on both or one or the other, it's best to move them over to your business, but you have two captive audiences. Think of those like channels. You've got the Cooking Network, and then you've got, HBO or something, right? And it's like you just have two captive audiences. So you just what you do is just post to both. But every once in a while, what you should do is you'll do some sort of a marketing like tactic or on the something important on your business page, and then on your personal, you'll say, hey, this and this just happened. Head over to my business page so that you can see it. And in the future, like the page so that you're getting those updates. But if you have both audiences, you need to just continue to market to both of them to take advantage of both.
Okay, so you're saying then that I should have then my personal and then my business, which is the brewery business page. And then on top of that, I should have the art business page? Or
Yeah, you should have your own art business page too, for sure. Your photography business should have its own, page. Because otherwise you're intermingling this stuff probably too much.
okay, yeah, it's a lot. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the brewery's a business. It needs its own page.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Now you should leverage both of those, cross promote them, right? But if you're going to start a photography business, it should have a page too. You should start watering that as well,
Mhm.
So that's where you're posting a lot of the stuff, like your images all the time and that specific content. And you'll share it on your personal as well, because that's where you built things. But eventually, mostly everybody will probably move over there. And at a certain point, you might just start posting on that. And then your personal is only really your personal,
Yeah. Okay, so to start, you're saying then that just to post everything on all the channels. Same
Yes.
thing, do 3 uploads. Same
Exactly.
time. Okay.
Exactly. With the goal of trying to move people over to the other ones by like every once in a while saying, oh, I posted this over here. It's an important announcement and discount to come to the brewery this weekend or something like that, right? Like go over there to see it and like the page in the future so that you get these in real time, That's how you'll get people to go, oh, okay, I want those. Like I'm going to go like that page. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a process. It's going to take time.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate you and compliments.
You got it. All right, David Diggs. Hey, Amzi, are you still on? I got a request here. I've got a request here to have you play us out. If you guys don't know, Amzi plays guitar every once in a while. We've asked him it was funny. There was one session he was kind of playing in the background and we just unmuted him and said, hey, play us out. So Amzi, I'm going to have you play us out. But David Diggs, you're next. Go ahead. I just unmuted you.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Hello to everyone here today. Hope everyone is safe and doing well. I wanted to step in here and take a moment to congratulate you, Nick.
Thank you.
This platform that you are running. I don't know. I spoke with Brian, and he and I were kind of joking around about how I actually been following along with Art Storefront since I want to say almost its inception. Right after its birth. I want to say it.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've been following you guys. I used to live in Detroit, Michigan, and I remember right around the time I decided to go back to school to get my education in film. I was really just paying attention to what you guys were offering. And at that time, of course, I was kind of hesitant, didn't feel like it was the right timing for me. I wanted to get a little bit more education under my belt. And yeah, so I started down that path. And I just been paying attention, following along with what you guys were doing in the background. And I got to say, again, really impressive. I see the progress. I can definitely feel the passion, and when you're talking about this, your baby, your love of how you're enjoying this ride. And again, congratulations on all of that.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
No worries. Um, the topic I wanted to bring up today is a bit sensitive, and the only reason why I say that is because we all know the times that we live in today as artists, we tend to reflect that. I am an African American artist. I grew up in the hood. Um, my era was hip hop and all of its expression, and I'm not sure if people really understand the full expression of that hip hop era and how it ties to art and the relationship to it. But graffiti was one of the biggest mainstays of the foundation of hip hop art. And with that being said, my approach to it has kind of a niche feel to it too. And not that I need to get into a whole lot of detail in it, but again, back to the times that we're dealing with, and reflecting of that. My goal since my journey as an artist was to kind of reflect in that, and change and help to assist with the change in the narrative of how Black people are pictured, in the media, in society. And I wanted to contribute to that in a way that was positive, and that has been my heart's goal. With that being said, I've always looked at your platform as somewhat of an opportunity to do that, but in ways, you know, would it hinder my growth? Would it hinder my ability to reach the audiences that I need to reach? And then, of course, building in that kind of genre, what do I expect from that? What do I expect from you? What do I expect from art storefronts as a whole? Is that something you can speak to, your experience with working with other Black artists and just building in that arena?
Well, we work with a lot of Black artists. A lot of Black artists are members, phenomenal members, and some of them doing extremely well. I think that when it comes to, the way that you want to market your art, and I don't want to, you're asking me, is it going to limit you, if you go in a certain direction? And I sort of think that, if you take a hard direction in any type of, whether it's like religion, politics, or anything, you're going to alienate some other group, right? It is what it is, right? But if it really means something to you, right? And it's coming, does it mean more to you? Does that mission mean more to you than, the market size, right? If it does, then you got to do that,
Yeah.
But if the market size means more to you, and you don't want to really, and you really are like, what, I want to build a really big art business, and I'd rather that kind of supersedes, a very focused, area, then you lean that side. But that's a very personal decision,
It
and
is,
I think
right.
but I will say though, if you go back to what I was saying, at the beginning of my part in talking on this session, I was talking about how the reason that a business does well is because it's adding value to real people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it's and the only way you do that is if I'm speaking about it from my perspective, we call our art storefronts members, we call it the family, the art storefronts family, right? Mm-hmm. And that came from me, and it's everybody that works for art storefronts, we say welcome to the art storefronts family. Every member that joins art storefronts, we say welcome to the family. We call it the ASF fam, right? It comes from a place of loving your customers, right? And loving your audience, and really caring about them. And it's because I care about solving this problem, the starving artist problem, right? It's a 1,000-year-old problem. There's not many 1,000-year-old problems that still exist. It happens to be one of them,
That's right.
So I'm super passionate about that, and I think about that. And so I'm willing to make trade-offs going into that. And so sometimes I'll talk to a gallery owner, and the gallery owner is asking me questions and certain things that are not in the interest of the artists. And I'm I'm sorry, I can't help you with that.
Right.
I have to take sides,
right.
And I just believe in the individual creator. I believe I don't like systems of where in the record industry, the record labels are taking advantage of the musicians. Yeah. Right. I really, really don't like that. It really bothers me. And it's been my history as an entrepreneur. I've always kind of started companies that try to disrupt areas where people are getting taken advantage of. That's just, it's something I've learned about myself. I didn't even realize I was doing it when I was younger, but it's been a mainstay. But as you can see, I'm giving you an example of where there are trade-offs, and there, you know, you could say that there's a big market for galleries trying to go online right now, like, you know,
That's true.
but they probably listen to a lot of what I say and my team says, and they're like, you know, they really want to help the artists, you know, and I think that there is a little bit of dissonance there, right? Like, if you really are all in on the artist and you want to help that artist, like, you got to help them, like, you know, escape from the onerous galleries and publishers. I'm not saying that every gallery is like a bad person at all, right? We do work with some galleries that are on our platform, but we definitely have chosen sides, you know, and I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that at the end of the day. I'm not going to sit here when I'm 60 years old and go, you know what? I really wish I should have worked with more galleries. You know what I mean? Like,
I think for me, it's a bit of both of having the marketing and the passion. And I won't even say a bit of both. I think it's really 50-50 down the line. I've always been involved in marketing to a degree where I see its importance, I see its value, right? But convincing someone of that in some of the areas that need it the most is daunting, to say the least. It's the traditionalism, it's the foundation and the effort, all of that going into it, that kind of gives some people the willies about it, you know. And then when you have this passion of actually designing something that you know is going to be beneficial in a way, that transcends just, you know, a sale or two, you know, something that really speaks volumes to people in their heart, in their homes, and where they are. That audience is so important, you know. So all of these different, you know, combinations of values really make something like I spoke about earlier about that niche, that very specific in between sweet spot that I need to be in order to feel. And that's where my uncomfortability comes in too, because it's like I want to be able to do both of those things in an effective way. And I've only found that those answers being answered in conversations with your company, in talks with people that represent what you're doing. And again, that goes back to the passion that you're putting into all of this in order to bring to fruition that whole total package, bring that whole total goal of getting the artists where they need to be, along with the marketing program. And again, I just think this total program is absolutely phenomenal.
thank you so much, David. I appreciate that. And I'll say that I really like the way that you're thinking about, like, you're really hitting the nail on the head the way that I'm meaning to when it comes to like loving your customer and thinking about providing them with value. Like, you just nailed it in what you, in everything that you just said there about, like, you know, you want to, like, you know, you're thinking past the first sale, right? You're thinking about like making a difference in their lives and their homes and their inspiration and all that stuff. Regardless of what direction you go, that is the right way to go, right? In either direction. What I would also tell you, like, my advice is, if you're not completely sure, like, dabble in both. Don't go all in completely, because you can always kind of like slip out the back door of one and just go all in on the other if you need to. But there's a way to not go completely all in until you really like the signals that you're seeing from the market. Okay. But getting it to the market is key, because that's the only way you're going to answer this question, really, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
Excellent. Anything else, David?
No, that was about it. Thanks a lot.
All right. You got it. Good talking to you. And yeah, just amazing that David's been around that long. He's been seeing us for that long. It's really cool. Really cool to hear. Amzi, are you around? Because I think we are done. You want to take us out? Amzi? I think Amzi's off. I see his name there, but his video's not there. It's too bad. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. It was great talking to all you. A lot of great questions again, as usual. We will be back at it. Another art business workshop on Friday, this Friday. Same time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, 2 Eastern. Tell a friend. If you got any friends that are artists and photographers and they're stuck, or they're, you know, maybe they got hurt by the pandemic, or they're trying to get their business off the ground, tell them to come. Tell them to come. We'll help them out. All right. And then also a reminder, if you're interested in learning more about art storefronts, next step, request a demo. We extended the summer sale. So it's a good time to look into this, get your ducks in a row, save some money, and you know, maybe join art storefronts at a discount. before the fourth quarter, the biggest art selling time of the year. So yeah, if you're interested in doing that, we just got another link in the chat. Thank you, April. Request a demo link is there. It's also in the Facebook post, and you can do that. Another thing I like to mention too, guys, Patrick, our marketing director, and myself, we have a new show. It's called Art Business Mornings. It's kind of in tandem with these art business workshops, right? It's every Tuesday and Thursday. And we're really dialing in like the timing and the days of the week, but we've committed to Tuesday, Thursday at like 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, 12 Eastern. So if you like us on Facebook or and follow us on Instagram, it should notify you on your phone, like when we go live. It should notify you, but otherwise check those out, because we're taking like a topic a day, and it's the most pressing topic that we think is really important to the art industry based on the 4,000 members that we are consulting and working with, and like getting our hands dirty with on a daily basis. And so it's all this information that we're getting that we ultimately decide, like, we got to talk about this topic today. And so they're kind of fun too. They're entertaining. You can also, like, if you subscribe to our podcast, you can binge on these. All of those Art Business Mornings are getting posted to our podcast. So they're all on there, and they're in numbered format. So, you'll probably enjoy those. Start at the first one though. Start at the first one. It's because where we kind of describe the show and make the case for it. So you understand like what we're going to be doing. And excited to see you guys there in the comments. Other than that, I see Amzi, you are here. I unmuted you. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm wondering. So
you have your guitar. Can you take us out?
Yeah, I got a question. Is that 11 Central?
It's the Art Business Mornings is 9 Pacific, 11 Central, 12 Eastern. Yes.
Okay, so you're sending us an invite or something, or
you just got to like our Facebook page or follow us on Instagram, and then you should get notified when we go live. I think we're going to probably do one this afternoon too, so keep an eye out.
What time?
It'll probably be in the next hour or so.
Okay, you ready?
Yes. Take us out, Amzi. Go for
it. All right. Unplug your drain. Clean up your brain. Ship it out. Don't be ashamed. Show the art world what it's all about. You want a storefront, sell your art from. Well, you know that this is the one. You can make some money and have some fun.
All right, Amzi. Thank you, brother. All right, guys. Until next time. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.